We're gonna start our pre-trip for Napier Truck Driving School. This is the end camp. We'll start with my safety belt. It is not cut or frayed, and it latches securely. Have a 10 BC fully charged fire extinguisher, 3 reflective triangles, and this truck runs on circuit breakers. Now I want to do a safe start. My truck is in neutral. My brakes are set. The ABS light will come on and go off in 5 seconds, and if not, I will turn the truck off. Clutch in, start the truck. My oil gauge will rise in 5 seconds. If not, I will turn the truck off. Water gauge will rise as the engine warms up. My voltmeter is between 12 and 14. Air gauges will rise to the proper level. Have a 20-inch steering wheel, no more than 2 inches of play. A city horn works, air horn works, left turn signal works, right turn signal works, 4-way flashers work, my headlights work, my high beams work. Windshield wiper fluid works, windshield wipers, they work. They have proper tension to the windshield, and the blades are not dry rotted. My windshield is not cracked. There's no illegal stickers obstructing the driver's view. There's a rubber seal around it that's not leaking. My defroster works, and my heater works. My mirrors are adjusted to the driver's view. They're not broken, and they're clean. Now we'll do my brake test. I have a tractor brake, trailer brake, and a service brake. I'm going to release my trailer brake to test my tractor brake. I'm putting the vehicle in first gear, easing off the clutch until I feel the truck brake tug at me. Tractor brake works. Now I want to set my trailer brake, release my tractor brake to test my trailer brake. Come off the clutch slightly. Trailer brake works. Now I want to release both brakes, move forward a foot, which is, they say 5 miles per hour. 1 foot, apply the brake, then the clutch. My service brake works. Now I want to look at my air gauge and make sure I have enough air for my air loss test. So I'm going to set my tractor brake, put my vehicle back in neutral, put off the clutch. I'm going to run my air back up. 10 to 12 RPMs, running my air back up to 20 pounds of pressure, or until my compressor spits and lets me know that that's all it'll take. While I'm doing this, I'm going to set myself up by turning my wheel to the left so I can see my wheel behind my wheel on the left side when I do my outside pre-trip. I have my air up, it's 120. Now I want to set myself up for this. So I'm going to put my truck back in first gear. I'm going to turn the vehicle off, take my foot off the clutch. I'm going to release the tractor brake without letting the trailer brake pop out. Tractor brake is being held, the tractor's being held by the gear. Turn my key back on so I can see my gauges, and it will go back and it'll let me know how much air I have in my tank. It's right at about 110. All right. Now, with my foot on the brake, I will not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Can you time me? Apply my foot on the brake, and I'll release it when it tells me to let go. I did not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Now I will fan my brake until my warning light and buzzer comes on at 60 psi or above. So I will fan my brake. Warning light and buzzer came on at 60 psi. Now I will fan my brake until both my valves pop out between 20 and 45 psi. Fan the brake, watching my valves. Both valves popped out at 30 psi. Put my truck back in neutral, turn the truck off, place the key on the panel, and this concludes my in-cab test. Now we'll go out to do the outside of the truck. As I approach my vehicle, there's no puddles under the truck. There's no wires hanging down up under there below, and no debris. My clearance lights, my marker lights, and my turn signal are amber in color and not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. My headlights are clear in color, they're not cracked, broken, or missing any lenses. Now we'll go to the exhaust. My exhaust is securely mounted. It's not cracked, it's not bent. All the bolts are present and tight. There's no soot to indicate a leak. All right. Coolant reservoir is securely mounted. It's between add and full. All my connections are tight and not leaking. Cable is tight, clamp is tight. Wires are tight. It has a cap on it. When the engine is cooled off, I would take the cap off to check it to make sure that it's between add and full. My alternator is securely mounted. It's not cut or damaged. The wires are not cut or frayed and they're tight. It's belt driven, and the belt is no more than 3/4 inch of play and is not cut or frayed. Oil dipstick is securely mounted. It's not leaking. I would pull it out and check it to make sure it's between add and full. I would follow this hose down to my water pump. That's from the coolant to the water pump that is securely mounted. It's gear driven and it's not cut or it's not broken and it's not leaking. All my wires are not cut or frayed on this side, are exposed, no wires exposed. All my clamps are tight and all my hoses are not leaking and they're tight. Look to the left. The power steering reservoir is securely mounted. It's between add and full. It's not leaking. It has a cap on it that has a dipstick that I would check it, make sure that the level is right. I will follow this hose to my power steering pump. The hose is in good condition. It's not cut or frayed or leaking. The power steering pump is gear driven. It's securely mounted. It's not cracked, broke, or leaking. Air compressor is securely mounted. It's not cracked, broke, or leaking, and it's gear driven. All the connections are tight. Steering gearbox, securely mounted. It's not cracked, it's not broke, it's not leaking, and all the bolts are tight. Universal joint is properly greased and the bolts are tight. My steering shaft, pitman arm, drag link, steering knuckle, tie rod are all securely mounted, not bent, broke, or twisted. Castle nuts and cotter keys are in place. Spring mounts, there's two of them, one in the front and one in the back. They're securely mounted, they're not bent, broke, or twisted, and the bolt is tight. My leaf springs are securely mounted, they're not cracked, they're not broken, and they're not shifted. My shock absorber is securely mounted top and bottom, it's not cracked, broke, or leaking. My U-bolts are securely mounted. There's no shiny metal to indicate looseness, and all the bolts are tight. My brake line is securely mounted top and bottom, and it's not cracked, broke, or leaking. ABS line is securely mounted top and bottom. It's not cracked, broke, or frayed. Brake chamber is securely mounted, not cracked, broke, or dented. The clamp is tight. Push rod and slack adjuster are securely mounted, not bent, broke, or twisted. The cotter keys and pins are in place. With the wheels chalked and the brakes released, the slack adjuster will not move more than 1 inch. Brake drum is securely mounted. There's no indication of an inner seal leak, and the brake lining, which are brake shoes, are not worn dangerously thin. The tire is inner and outer tire walls. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. It's evenly worn. There's no separation, and there's no less than 4/32 tread depth. My rim, securely mounted. It's not bent. It's not broken. There's no illegal welds. My lug nuts are all present. They're securely mounted. There's no rust trails to indicate looseness. Valve stem is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or missing, and I would check it with a tire gauge. The hub seal is securely mounted. It's not cracked, it's not leaking. All the bolts are tight and has a rubber seal on it that I would take the cap off, put my finger in there and check the oil level. Mirror bracket is securely mounted. It's not bent, it's not broken. The bolts are tight. My door is securely mounted. It opens and closes freely, and the door hinges are not binding. Has a rubber seal around it that's not leaking. Turn signal is securely mounted. It's amber in color. It's not cracked, broke, and it's not missing any lenses. The stairs and the catwalk are securely mounted. All the bolts are tight. There's no debris, and it actually holds the driver's weight. The air tank, the fuel tank is securely mounted. It's not bent, it's not broke, it's not dented. There's no puddles to indicate a leak. The straps are tight. They're securely mounted to the frame. Has a rubber seal up under the straps that are not dry rotted. Fuel tank has a cap on it. Has a rubber seal that is not leaking, and it's not dry rotted. Electrical line is securely mounted to the tractor and to the trailer. The latches are present, and it's not cut or frayed, no exposed wires. The air lines are securely mounted to the back of the tractor, the front of the trailer. Glad hands are tight, and the rubber grommets are not dry rotted, and they're not missing. And the air lines are not leaking. Under the catwalk is a drive shaft. It's securely mounted, it's not bent, broke, or twisted, and the universal joints in the front and in the back are properly greased, and all the bolts are tight. The tractor frame is not bent, broke, or twisted, and no illegal welds. The header board is secure. There's no dents to indicate a shifted load, and there's no holes. All the rivets are present, none missing. The clearance lights at the top are amber in color, not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. So now, we go right here. Brake chamber. The brake line, the ABS line, the brake chamber, the clamp, push rod, and slack adjuster, I would check those like I did on the steer axle. The spring mount, the spring, which is here, spring, the U-bolt, which is under here, and the shock absorber, I would check those like I did on the steer axle. Now this is the torque bar. It can be a torque bar, torque arm. It's not bent, broke, or twisted. And the bushing is properly greased. Behind the tire here, the drum and the lining, I would check it like I did on the steer axle. We're gonna do our tires. Inner, outer tire walls, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. There's proper spacing between the tires, no debris. They're evenly worn, no separation, and there's no less than 2 30-seconds tread depth. Rim, lug nut, and valve stem, I would check those like I did on the steer axle. Axle seal, securely mounted, all the bolts are tight and it's not leaking. Airbag mounts, top and bottom. Airbag mounts, top and bottom, are securely mounted. They're not cracked or broke. The airbag is not cut and it's not leaking. Mud flap and splash guard are securely mounted. They're not cut. They're not hanging dangerously low. All right here, let's do our apron. Apron is securely mounted to the trailer. There's no illegal holes, there's no bulges. There's proper space, between the apron and the fifth wheel. The fifth wheel is properly greased. The fifth wheel is secure to the platform and the pins and counter keys are in place. The platform is securely mounted to the trailer frame. All the bolts are present and they're tight. The release arm is in the lock position. It's not bent and it's not missing. If you look under here, the locking jaw is secure around the kingpin shank, and the kingpin shank is not bent, broke, or twisted. My tail lights are red in color. They're not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses, and my reverse lights are white in color, clear in color, not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. Cross members are securely mounted. They're not cracked, broke, none missing, and there's no holes in the trailer floor. DOT tape is securely mounted. It's not chipping, it's not chipped, and it's not missing. Landing gear securely mounted to the trailer. It's not bent or broke. Pads are in the raised position and they're not cracked, and there are no illegal welds. The handle is resting in the holster properly. Turn signal is amber in color. It's not cracked, bent. It's not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. My air lines and electric lines are not hanging dangerously low. They're not leaking, and they're not cut or frayed. Sliding tandem is secured to the trailer frame, to the trailer. Actually, the cross members. It's the handle is in the lock position. The pins are extended through the holes. Okay. Looking in the wheel well on the other side. Got your drum and your lining. I would check it like I did on the drive axle. I have my spring mount, springs, U-bolts. I would check those like I did on the steer axle. Torque bar or torque arm is not cracked, bent, or twisted. I got my brake line, ABS line, brake chamber, clamp, push rod, and slack adjuster. I would check those like I did on the steer axle. On my tires, inner, outer tire walls, proper spacing, no debris, evenly worn. I would check these tires like I did on the drive axle. The rim, lug nut, and valve stem, I would check those like I did on the drive axle. The hub seal, I would check it like I did on the steer axle. There's no airbag on here. If there were, I would check it, like check the top and bottom of the airbag mounts and the airbag like I did on the drive axle. I will check this axle like I did this axle. I would check this mud flap like I did the mud flap on the drive axle. ABS light is amber in color, not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. Marker light, tail light, clearance lights are all amber in color, all red in color, not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. The door opens and closes freely. There's no holes. Cable is proper tension, not cut or frayed. The handles in the lock position. The strap is securely mounted, and it's not cut or frayed. License plate is current, up to date. The license plate light is clear in color. It's not cracked, broke, or missing any lenses. DOT tape is present, not cracked or peeling. I would check this side of the vehicle like I checked this side of the vehicle. And at this point, I want to ask the examiner how much time I have left. Hopefully 5 to 7 minutes. Then I will ask him that I would like to do my lights. If he looks at me strange, I'm going to do my air loss test instead. But if he asks me if I'm through with my test, then I'm going to tell him that I'm going to ask him, am I through with my test? Then he will let me know that I have enough points. At that point, I'm done. Thank you.